On today's episode of Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman, I'll be reading Peju's story. I hope my story revives some hope in mankind and inspires people to be kind and to be good to others. I left my village on the Ogun State and Benin Republic border as a teenager. I did not even know my age, but I was in the early stages of puberty, so I put my age at 13 whenever anyone asked me. I followed an older lady to Lagos. My mother died a few years before that, and my father was a known drunk in the village. I lived in a large compound with some of my mother's family members, but no one in particular took care of me. I never attended school or had any training, formal or informal. Auntie Queen, as she was called in the village, was a Lagos girl, and the rumor was that she was involved in promiscuous business. For some reason, she was attracted to me. The few times I had been seen talking to her, I was warned that no man would be interested in me if I got close to her. And that was important because as far as my uncles especially were concerned, the next thing on the agenda for me was to get married. They had even mentioned a few men who were interested, elderly men, old enough to be my father. Auntie Queen told me that I was too young to get married and that if I followed her to Lagos, I could live a free life and make plenty of money and be like her. I was interested, and she encouraged me to leave home unnoticed one morning and come to her so that we could leave for Lagos together. And I did. In Lagos, she kept me in her house for about a month. She said I needed to grow fatter and look better. Her house in Lagos was what is called a room and parlor. She had a small flat screen TV in it, air conditioning on the wall, and she had her own tiny bathroom with a toilet. I had never seen such luxury before in my life. She said it would only be a matter of time before I had my own apartment if I followed all that she taught me. For 1 month, I did not do anything except eat, sleep, and watch television when there was power. Every day, she cooked things I barely ever ate in the village. Bread and eggs with Milo or Bonvita every morning, noodles, spaghetti, rice and fish or beef, yam with fried stew. I ate thrice a day, and within that 1 month, the few clothes I brought were far too tight. She took me out to buy new clothes, things that I considered modern. Shorts, crop tops, strapless dresses, etc. She took me to pierce my ears and bought me earrings which I had never worn before. And she even asked if I wanted my nose pierced, which I did. She took me to get my hair permed and braided too. I was so excited. It was after about a month that she said it was time for me to start working so that I could earn my own money. I was only too eager. She took me to her friend who owned a bar that operated only in the evenings, and I was supposed to work as a sales girl. The woman treated me well, gave me fish pepper soup with a cold drink, and said I was entitled to have that every day apart from my pay. All I had to do was wash plates and serve her customers well by doing whatever they wanted. I was not a naive girl because such things were common in our village. I knew girls around my age who got pregnant, and we freely discussed such things. The issue they had with Auntie Queen in the village was that she was not married or living with any man. They did not want me around her because I would become spoilt, in their words. That was how I entered the night world in Lagos, and I was there for about 8 years. My first madam did not let the men who patronized her go all the way with us or take us home, but we danced for them, and they got to touch us as they liked. In return, they gave us money and they patronized her heavily. She was happy, they were happy, and we were happy too. I kept living with Auntie Queen, and in return, I shared my night takings with her. After some time, she took me to bigger bars, and in those places, the stakes were higher, if you understand what I mean. Eventually, I got tired of living that life and being with different men. I felt I had done all there was to do, and I didn't want to stand on the streets or follow men to different places. I felt it was dangerous because of some of the stories I had heard. I wanted something more stable. That was when I met a lady who got house jobs for people. She told me that if I played my cards right, I could get what I was looking for. I understood what she meant, and when she took me to the home where I was meant to work, I had only one goal. It was the home of a middle-aged couple in their early 50s with two children who had left the house. The man was a full-time pastor, while the wife worked in a large packaging company. It was the perfect place to hatch my plan, or so I thought. The wife was a very nice woman, so although I felt bad, in my opinion, I was not out to take her position in the home. I just wanted her husband to be my steady source of a good life. I resumed in the mornings around 7 a.m. and closed at 7 p.m. after she returned from work, so I still lived with Auntie Queen. My job was to keep the house tidy and prepare meals. As far as I was concerned, the setup was perfect.